Oh, wow, eh? That is a nice sound. That is a nice sound. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We're getting started with episode 3 here. We're live on Twitch. We're going to go live on stereo in just a moment. Hope everybody's having a great day. And I really mean that. I know it's something just people say. No, I mean it, all right? Hope you find the time to come hang out with me on Twitch, hang out with me on stereo. Got some good news. Recently set up all through the magic of Anchor. There's no small wonder why Spotify picked up Anchor, which is a way to make a podcast, you know what I mean? Anchor's smooth. It's very, very nice. And so I'm uploading my stuff to YouTube. I take the audio from that and it becomes the podcast on Spotify. So you can now listen to this anytime you want on the Spotify platform. It's very exciting because I'm a big podcast geek, basically. And it's charming to see my smiling face in the list on that platform. So 2 points to Anchor, 2 points to Spotify. All right. We're going to be fielding calls from around the world. That's the format of this show. We talk to perfectly random people from all over the world, and it's perfectly random. Hold on, let me turn this music down just a touch here. This is a one-man show, guys. All right, give it just something like that. That's all right. All right, let's tame that. If you like what you hear, by the way, there's a playlist on Spotify called Twitch X Arjuna Beats, all right? And it's Twitch safe music. And so I try my absolute best to not break any terms of service regarding any of the platforms that I use, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Twitch, whether it's stereo, I really do play by the rules. And so this is a massive list of royalty-free music, so it's safe to use on your streams and things, you know what I mean? And Twitch recently had a big problem with, well, they've always kind of had problems with people using copywritten material in their streams, right? And it is a problem, and I do respect that. I'm not a huge fan of copyright problems because I do believe that art is a wonderful thing that needs to be shared. So I don't like limiting it in any way, especially through like laws or like greed. You know, there's a dark side to it. You know what I mean? But hey, Gnomes, good morning, buddy. Yeah, so it's just I do my very best to use only copywritten or copyright-free material, rather. You know what I mean? So if you like what you hear, Spotify, Twitch, Arjuna Beats, it's called, is a massive bucket of royalty-free music. So these wonderful artists, I can't name them all because it's I think it's 500 files. I don't even know what it is. It's insane, right? So good for your stream, good for your life. All right. So I'm just gonna put that out there. That's how this. That's the sounds you're hearing right now. If you're into that kind of thing, we're just gonna have some tunes on in the background while we talk to perfectly random people from around the world. Our good friend Gnomes has joined us on Twitch. Popped by yesterday. I'm glad you're back, man. Hopefully we'll have some good conversations today. If you guys have already noticed, this is a very young experience for me. Okay, so this is new to me, and so there'll be some bumbling. There'll be some, I will say some ground rules at the beginning of every stream. I think I might just say a couple words about this every time, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on around here. Okay. So first rule, we talk to people from around the world in a perfectly random way. We have no idea who we're gonna get. We have no idea what they're like, And so to that effect, I try my very best not to talk to minors, because I just want to give the parents of those minors that respect, and also that person that respect. I'm live streaming this talk, and so I don't feel like putting your child on live stream, okay? So I do my very, very best to I can't screen it, but I will screen it. If I notice that someone's very young or they sound very young, I will be swiping them away and we'll talk to somebody else, and that's okay. It's no disrespect, right? Another sort of ground rule that I have is I try my very best to keep it pretty clean, okay? Due to the nature of taking fielding random calls from around the world, random people from everywhere, sometimes you're going to get somebody who's saying something offensive or something that could be deemed as offensive, or it's just something that you personally don't feel comfortable listening to. And to that respect, I'd like very much for you to just go ahead and listen to something else, okay? I can't promise you that there won't be material here that's sensitive, okay? I try my very best to keep it clean, like a washing machine, like I said last stream. Okay? But no promises, okay? It's a pretty crazy experience. We're literally talking to random people from around the internet, so you've been warned, all right? So wish me luck on that regard, because it's not easy. I'm already sort of in the hot seat sometimes with that one. All right, that being said, I really hope that you enjoy this. All right, feel free to ask questions. This is the last thing I want to tell you before we get started here. You can interact with this on a great in a great way. All right, you can go on the live Twitch stream. We're live on Twitch, so the chat is wide open. You come ask questions and participate and comment and all that great stuff on Twitch. Feel free to like and subscribe the channel naturally. Another way to interact is to install the Stereo app on your phone. Okay, it's a free app on the Play Store there, possibly for iOS. I haven't looked into that. I promise by next stream I'll know whether that's true or not. But you might be able to. I think you can find it on iOS as well. And yeah, there you can actually kind of talk with us, because I'm talking with somebody, and on the Stereo app you can actually record your voice to send a question or comment while the chat's happening, and we can play it back, and so you can hear yourself on the stream, and you can talk to us on the stream, and yeah, good times. All right, good times. So I'm gonna get ready here. Are you guys ready for this? We're gonna field the first call of today. First perfectly random person from around the world. Gnomes, what am I doing? What has my life become? Here we go. All right, let's do it. All right, there's no time like the present. So one thing I do in the Stereo app there, which you can see on screen on Twitch there, is I set a sort of topic at the top to make sure that people know that they are live on Twitch. It's a respect that I give them, basically. I hope people are comfortable with that, and if they're not, if anyone's uncomfortable with being live streamed, they're welcome. They can just swipe me away. They can, I've already noticed on Stereo, there's some, it seems like there's dudes who only want to talk to girls. You know what I mean? Because I get swiped often enough. I get swiped away because I'm a dude. So see you later. And you know what? Okay, all right. We all come to these things for different reasons. I'm not going to judge that, but I am going to say, okay, right, bye, whatever. The openness of the Stereo app is wonderful. I'm absolutely in love with the app. The developers, I've been back and forth with the support team recently. They're wonderful people. They've really tried to help me iron out some kinks and answer some sort of deeper questions about it, because I'd like to get verified on Stereo. And so to that effect, I've been back and forth with them. Great people. Response time's reasonable. Okay, they're not going to get back to you 1 second later, or if they do, hey, great. But I mean, give them a little time. I'm sure it's not. 150 people making the Stereo app there. Okay, so be patient. All right, good people working hard for sure. It's a great app. So, Gnomes, I'm not going to put on a girl's voice. All right, I'm trying to keep it really honest around here, and I'm hoping that the show shows that honesty. I'm hoping that you get the impression of it's this dude who's talking to random people, and it's just, that's what you get. You know what I mean? So no trickery here. I'm certainly not going to trick the people I'm talking with. Okay. Need a drink. You ready? Let's just see who's on the other line. All right, let's get this started, Gnomes. Here we go. Oh, hey. It's Goalie. Hi, Goalie.
Hi, we've talked before.
How are you? We've talked before, yeah.
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Just got to set up the tags for the show here. Give me just 1 second. There we go. It goes something like that. Right on. Right on. So how was your night?
It's 8 p.m. here. It's a holiday.
Yeah? Okay.
And I'm fine.
Great. Right on.
It's been good.
My wife is going to do some painting in my home today, and so I spent a little bit of my morning pulling all of the furniture away from the walls and everything. As my house looks like a bomb went off in it right now. So my
She's a painter.
she's painting parts of the house right now. She's sort of
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah. So it's happening. You know what I mean? So if it's a holiday, do you have school
Mhm.
tomorrow? I remember last time we talked, you have a school. Are you doing
It's New
online?
Year's. It's yes, we do, but it's no rules holidays, if you know what that means. It's New Year's holiday here,
Really?
so we don't. Yeah, so we don't have school for for about 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
Actually, it's a 13 days holiday, but there are only 5 days left, I guess.
Okay, wow. When those days are over, will you be returning to in-class things, or will you be doing online things? Here in Canada, so much online stuff. Only the little kids go to school for the most part, but all the high schools, all the teenagers, all the post-secondary like college and university, they're all going to. It's all online right now. There's no in-class stuff really.
No. Yeah, same.
Same.
It's going to be online.
Yeah. Do you
It's
think?
going to be online, yeah.
Do you think you're adjusting to that well? Does it work well for you?
We have to.
Well,
What can I do?
yeah, that's true. Whether it's working or not, I guess you're stuck with it, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you that for the little ones, when they did a little bit of online stuff here in Canada, it was terrible. And it's not the fault of the teachers. I mean, the teachers did. I think the teachers did what the best they could, but it wasn't a very good education as far as school is concerned. It was pretty lame. So. Yeah, I wish you the best on that
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have any plans for the New Year's then? If it's New Year's, or do you do any celebrations or parties of any kind?
Yeah. We do actually. We celebrate the first day, and we celebrate the 13 days.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Is it more of a family experience, or is there large parties?
It's sort of a tradition to go visit family and friends on these 13 days.
Okay.
Okay, but that's normally what we do. But nowadays, because of COVID and this COVID situation, we don't do that this year.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe you can do online things. I guess you could actually do sort of web chat. That's kind of lame, I know, but I've had little online get-togethers with friends, my wife and I, and then we call somebody. There's video, and yeah, we chat for a bit that way. Basically, we don't hang out,
I'm kind of happy for it.
Yeah.
For canceling visiting.
Yeah. Why is that?
I'm okay. I'm okay with isolating myself.
You know what? Goalie, you're a genius. Me too. I'm not any social, but I do very well just hanging out with myself. You know what I mean? And then live streaming on Twitch, and there's other ways for me to interact with people that, I do very, very well with this isolation thing. I'm fine. I play video games,
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about video games.
Except for the online classes, I'm happy with the rest of it.
Right. Well, I've already seen some clever people making ways to cheat tests and cheat assignments and things because it's all online. And now there's ways to get around the work, basically. Yeah. People record themselves sitting at their chair, and then they put that on their class, so they're not actually there, but it's showing that they're sitting there. That kind of thing.
It's going to be horrible when it just becomes normal again. I guess we will come to realize that we didn't learn anything at all.
Yeah, and actually there's a lot of studies being done right now already about the impact of like sort of long-term impacts,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You are if I remember correctly, you're studying psychology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that maybe that could be a field of study for you. That would be a hot topic for a fresh graduate. Would be the impact of social restrictions and things in relation to something psychological. You know what I mean? I'm sure there'd be a lot of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
You get a grant, you know, get a big fat
You
grant.
mean where? Here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you just
I don't think so.
yeah, the universities. I mean, if you are a psychologist, if you graduate, you should be able to apply for grants where the government will pay you money to do the study, right? Or the university will pay you, or
You mean Iranian government?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think the Iranian government does that? Gives grants to scientists basically to do studies? Because I know Canada does for sure. Lots of that in Canada.
Yeah, that's Canada.
Yes, that's
Yes.
true. I assumed most governments do this, where they have scientists, psychologists, they have all kinds of people, and then in order to do that work, you can't have a job and write a 380-page book about something important, right? You can't, and so people will get grants from the Canadian government to do studies and or from companies, even like businesses will pay good money for somebody to produce a paper, you know, to prove or disprove something, you know. I don't know, there's a lot of money down the road, you know.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, have a good one, Goalie. It was a pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Hafiz? Oh.
Why won't it let me bring her in?
Grimy, how's it going? Oh, see? Iman? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. You?
Great. I'm live streaming on Twitch while talking to people on stereo and about just about anything, and so we've landed on you. I hope you're having a great day.
You language?
English, yes. I'm from Canada. Where are you from?
I am from Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
My language is Bengali.
Ah, yeah, very nice. A nice place to be.
I don't English.
Ah, okay. I'm afraid I speak English. Have a good day, all right? With nothing I can do about that, guys. What's happening, Alex?
What?
How you doing?
Other people that are live and it puts you with them. So you talk to people.
How you doing, Alex?
Just join it. I mean, because this has my actual name.
Yeah, see, there you go. Hello, Valentino. How you doing?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you say the sound
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle-dum-diddle-I.
Yes, finally, someone singing that.
The amazing Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, how you doing today?
With a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Medicine go down. Medicine go down.
That's right.
With a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
In the most peculiar way.
Yes.
Valentino, did you see the new Mary Poppins movie?
Do you know what?
Did you?
I haven't actually seen it because I feel like I didn't want to ruin the old one.
Oh, really? Listen, I can tell
Mm.
you that actually I recommend you see it. It was a theatrical experience. It was actually very high quality. They did a great job.
Oh,
Yeah, they
I'm so
really
pleased
did.
to hear that.
Yeah, they really did. And you know, and I know that nothing can beat Dick Van Dyke in the original. But I don't think they were trying to compete with it.
What
You
a
know?
film, what a legend, what a legacy.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
You know, Dick Van Dyke, that generation of actors, they could sing, they could dance, they could tap dance, they could do everything. They could act. They could do every. They were so talented. They were so talented. And nowadays actors, they can barely act. I mean, let's be honest here. Actors, they can't sing, they can't dance, they can't do anything, and maybe a little bit of act. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Do you ever watch the X Factor?
A little bit, yes.
Do you know the singer Sharon Osbourne?
No, I don't.
No, not singer. The judge on that. Sharon Osbourne with the red hair.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid I don't.
Oh my god.
She
okay,
talented?
They did the Sharon Osbourne funny outtakes.
Yeah.
Right, so there was this thing where she was like on a judge panel and they were just laughing at this poor contestant. And I was like, oh my god, that's so bad. So this singer, she obviously can sing, but she came on and she was like, you remember me, I remember you on the fields of Bali.
Oh wow, the Sting song, eh? Gnome's
So no, she
Gnome's
was
on
like
Twitch is saying
fulfilling.
it's Ozzy Osbourne's wife. Is that who we're talking about here?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah. And she was
okay.
going,
You
so she
know,
was going, you remember me, I remember you. How funny is that?
it's awesome. Yeah, I actually worked for Ozzy
I need to
Osbourne
play you the
once.
clip in the background.
Sure, yeah, if you
No
can find
way,
it.
Did you?
Well, yeah, I did like some security job, right? Which is not the greatest job. I don't like being a security guard. I just took the job. And so I got to work for the concert. It's just not my thing,
how
right? So
brilliant is that?
yeah, so I'm working for Black Sabbath. And here's the thing, Valentino, here's the thing. I'm doing this in Ontario, Canada, where I'm from, right? And so the people that are going to the Black Sabbath concert, they're not biker, mean, tough guys. It's all like Doug and Nancy from the rich part of town who are like, they're like 48, 52 years old, you know? They're not
Yeah.
jerks, right? They're not assholes. And so what the security people wanted me to do was pat down all these people coming into the concert. They wanted me to like grabbing and touching, you know? And it's a Black Sabbath concert.
That's so bad.
And this is Doug and Nancy. They're like truly just sort of these nice middle
I'm so
class
sorry, I'm not
family
trying to
people,
interrupt
you know?
but I found a clip.
No, yeah, no, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Hilarious.
What's your name?
Penelope
Penelope.
Gomez.
You Spanish?
I am, yeah?
From Barcelona.
From Barcelona.
Sharon talking.
Okay, Penelope. And what are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to sing for all of you Over the Rainbow.
Okay.
What was that?
Over the rainbow.
Oh.
Okay.
What is happening right now?
It gets me every time. Louis.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Wait.
Start again,
It's
please.
a shame.
Is she gonna do it again?
Yeah.
She's having trouble.
Don't sweat yourself.
No, just look at me, okay?
Oh my god. It's a car crash.
What is the problem? Okay. Okay, we're starting yoga.
Okay, here we go.
Sad song.
Somewhere over rainbow, star blue.
Oh, wow. All right. Wow. You know what? If you asked me this morning if I would hear that today, I would have said you're crazy. That would never happen to me.
I love that song.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, come on, give her one more song.
One more? All right. One more. She's so talented, right?
Sharon's losing it. Oh.
Just sing. Sing Fields of Gold.
Sing Fields of Gold. See who
Oh, here we go.
We don't get many Spanish singers in. Are you ready? Okay, Fields of Gold, Fields of Gold.
Fields of gold. You remember me as the west wind moves upon the fields of barley.
Oh, God.
You forget the sun in his yellow sky as we walk on fields of gold.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Wow. All right. Well, Valentino, thank you very much for sharing that with us. I don't even know what to say. I'm almost speechless.
Oh dear, it's such a shame. I'll come back to Sharon.
Amazing. Valentino, where are you from? You from the US?
I'm from Scotland.
Scotland?
I know, I'm from, yeah.
Scotland?
Oh, that's funny.
You don't have
Yeah.
a Scottish accent. I'm not judging you here. I'm just
Sorry.
asking, I wouldn't say Scotland if talking to you.
I know, I don't know why.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I'm just taking calls and talking to people from around the world on Twitch, and it's been a wild ride. The Stereo app has put me with some pretty interesting people. I really thank you for sharing that crazy little clip with us.
So am I on the radio somewhere?
We're live on Twitch right now. Yeah, live streaming on the Twitch platform.
Oh wow.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, so I've been talking about 6:30 in the morning here,
Oh my gosh, okay.
or listening to this group of just randomly came across this group of Irish people,
Oh yeah?
and they had basically been on my Instagram page, and I don't know whether it's because I'm gay or I'm a target, but they were going through my Instagram. So the irony of this at 6:30 in the morning, going on to Stereo and just finding out that these two people on Stereo were talking about me, and
Oh.
they had been going through my Instagram page. I was like, are you serious? Is this actually happening right now?
Wow, really? It
Yeah,
doesn't
so
sound
this
great
is
actually.
all
It sounds
recorded.
kind of toxic, you know?
Yes, and they were creating this whole toxic energy, and they were like, oh, did you see on the 13th of March he posted this thing? So they were like going through my page, and I was listening to it, and I was just like, are you actually serious right now? Like two random people from Ireland, who are obviously Irish. and
What
they're
could be
going through
more
my Instagram page.
what could be more random, right?
How random is that? So the more random this thing was, I'm quite a random person, okay? So when I first joined Stereo last Saturday, there was this random guy from Ireland, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, it could have been any random question. Do you drink shampoo? Like, just to get the conversation flowing.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, just randomly I said, and it maybe wasn't the best question to have asked, which arguably you could kind of say, well, what did he really mean by that? Which obviously no one did. But I said to him, this random Irish guy, I said to him, do you like watching people suffer?
Oh,
And he could have then said, no, I don't.
Absolutely
but I do
not,
like
yes.
scary movies.
okay.
But I get it, because it was a random question, and I can understand it was a bit odd. But at the same time, it really was just a random question.
Sure.
So anyway, I was going through Stereo a few days later, and I was talking to this other random Irish guy, and he said, oh, I know who you are. You're that guy who asked that guy, do you like watching people suffer?
Oh,
I said,
wow.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it was just a random question. I didn't mean anything by it. So I realized that there's a whole group of people from Ireland who are on the Stereo app who are actually going out their way to target individual people just because they can, for no other reason than to cause
Oh,
other people this whole toxic drama kind of thing going on. And I thought, that's really sad that he said that, because obviously they've said, oh, this user's this type of way, or he's this weird person, when actually I was just trying to get a flowing conversation.
sure,
And
sure. Well, I'll tell you, Valentino, I don't think you're a very toxic person, just from our little chat here, okay? And anything goes. I mean, you can ask anybody anything. That's that's the freedom of this app, right? Gnomes is hanging out with us on the Twitch app right now. And he says he's absolutely no reflection on us Irish. He's sorry to hear that, Valentino. And so here's an Irish person saying that he's not. He's hoping that it doesn't reflect poorly on Irish people for you. Okay.
No, not at all. And as well, I think it's obviously just this minority of people using pretend names, like Hannah Montana.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Or even Simone.
Sure.
And I did think, those usernames are a wee bit kind of, there's no correlation to who they actually are. And the irony is, if there are gay people who don't have a thick skin like me, who are getting kind of pinned down by all these Irish people who just are obviously a small minority of people from Ireland who are going out their way to make one person feel singularly outcast, or they're trying to make someone feel like you can't be on Stereo. What are you trying to do? Persuade people with your thoughts and feelings? That's not allowed.
Well,
and I just kind of thought to myself, this is so random. The fact that all these random Irish people are having a go at me all because I asked that one guy one random question. I just thought, how can that be?
Well, it sounds very childish, to be honest. It sounds like schoolyard stuff. You pick on one thing, you find one thing and you pick on it. You know what I mean? And not even willing to hear you, not even willing to sort of interact. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's fine. I think as well because I'm quite an open person.
Oh, clearly you're here.
I had like my social media stuff linked to my page, which I didn't really think anything about it. So obviously, in between the time that I had said that question to being offline, they'd obviously managed to track down my social media. They'd been like going through all my pages and just extracting all this information about who I am, and he only has 4,000 followers, but none of his followers follow him or like him. He has no picture likes on his Instagram.
Who cares? Who cares?
I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I'm not seeking validation. I just post a lot because I'm quite a creative person.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get approval. I only just came on Stereo last Saturday for the first time because I found it an interesting app and wanted to see what I could do in terms of talking to people outside of my community.
Yeah, hey, that's a bold move of yours. It takes courage to do something like that. Everyone here on Stereo deserves at least 1 point for putting their foot forward and, saying I would like to sort of meet people from around the world, It's great. I can tell you, Valentino, in my personal experience with Stereo, which is not very long, just a few days, I can tell you that I get swiped a lot. I think it's because I'm a man. And I think a lot of guys here are looking to talk to only women or something like this. If I say hello and then they're
using it like as a dating app.
Pretty much. I did run into a gentleman yesterday, for example. I was live streaming, and so I landed on this guy who is looking to talk to Jennifer, and so he's trying to find this girl that he talked to. In this perfectly random thing. He's trying to find Jennifer, and so he's endlessly swiping people until he finally hopes to connect with this girl again,
To find Jennifer.
Yeah.
That is so bad, isn't it?
Well, you know what? Yes. Okay, I agree with you. It's a little creepy, I guess you could say.
Yes.
But
I know, sorry,
let's
maybe quite a strong word.
Well, yeah, let's what if it's entirely genuine? It's a sweet, heartfelt. He just really, it's a Romeo and Juliet sort of situation. I'm willing to give it that benefit of the doubt a little, not much, but
yeah,
I really connected with this person, and I really want to connect with them again. There's something honest about that. But it felt creepy when he's telling me this, how he's looking for this girl. I was like, okay, well, I told him, I said, hey man, I'm not Jennifer, so if you want to swipe me away, go ahead. You know, what else am I supposed to do
you
about that,
obviously,
right?
like, don't really sound like a Jennifer.
No,
but
no, I'm afraid I
moving
don't. No.
what a shame.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
well,
people, I guess people, the stereo is going to have everything. It's going to have lonely people. It's going to have interesting
I
people,
know.
you know.
I met a girl from Texas, and now we're chatting on private Instagram messages, and it's nothing sexual, but it's just a friendship.
Hey,
And
that's awesome.
sometimes you're allowed to have a friendship. And that
Oh,
can
you
be
don't
allowed.
say. Yeah, you don't say. Are you sure? It's 2021. Are you sure?
Like someone from Scotland is allowed to message a girl on stereo.
How-
It can just be random, and then they can just randomly have a friendship.
Valentino, how dare you?
Uh-huh.
How dare you?
It's just this complete closed mindedness of certain minorities of people from wherever. It doesn't even need to be Ireland. Obviously, my situation just happened to be that it was so random. It was all these random people from Ireland. But obviously, it's such a small minority of people that are doing this. It almost creates a bigger problem in terms of there's something that just isn't quite right with not just stereo, but other apps in general, where people find this kind of freedom to just feel like they can say and do whatever they want. Where actually, the reality is, would you say that in person to someone? Would you honestly?
Do you have the courage to say it in person as well, eh? Yeah. Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
This whole kind of keyboard warrior fiasco going on.
Well, you know what? I guess you and I can take it as words on the internet like this are cheap, right? It's not in person. It doesn't take a lot of courage to type hateful things. You know what I mean? And so I lose respect for people who do these things only because you're clearly not brave enough to do it in person. Because
Exactly. And and the only kind of stupid thing from me, my point of view, is I kind of had been so open to the point where I had all my social media on, connected with the stereo app, and I kind of then was being stupid enough to then let all these random people I don't know from Ireland kind of dictate how I felt. And then I kind of took all my stuff off, and I thought, why am I allowing other people to tell me what to do and to make my account private and all this stuff? And I thought, I'm going to reconnect my accounts. I'm going to unprivate my Instagram. I've got nothing to hide. All I did was ask that one person a question. They've blown it way out of proportion. And that is what it is. There is no maliciousness about it. It's, it just seems to be, for whatever reason, maybe that person's actually had something like that happen to them, and then that struck a chord with them.
Yeah, and you know what? That could be. I doubt that's the case. It sounds to me like just childish nonsense. But like right now I'm live streaming this chat, for example, and I try my very best to put forward. It's a podcast sort of format, right? And so I try my very best to keep things pretty clean and friendly. I try my best. I don't want to offend anybody, but I will ask questions.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of talking to random people around the internet is to have some fun with it as well. And it's interesting,
It's gotta be fluid. It
I
has
don't mean
flow
to
back and
offend though,
forth.
and so I hope I don't step on anybody's feet. And if I do apologize for that. But at the same time, I believe people have the right to ask me sensitive questions, and I should feel the same that I can go ahead and say silly things too. You know what I mean? Like, if nobody has to talk to me, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
Like, the opinions and approvals of other people should not dictate how you go about your daily life.
Well, to a point.
That's not an offensive
To a point.
way.
I give the public respect, and so I will not. I do have the right to ask, to say pretty strong things, but I do realize that I don't, by walking around just saying really strong or offensive things, I'm not going to make a lot of friends that way. It's not going to be easy. And like we were talking about how people can be triggered or be a little sensitive to certain things. I know that minorities in general, and I'll just say that blanket term. Okay, so we can talk about people in the LGBTQ community, people of a minority, of an ethnic minority of any given country. There's certain topics and certain things to say that may be a different experience for them than me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I do have to give them that respect, right? And
100%.
I find that by being very open with people, by wanting to hear from them, and so let's say someone is part of a minority group of any kind, right? It's more than just a little important for them to sort of share, right? To allow a place for them to share and feel comfortable sharing, and we might all learn something together if we just give it a chance, right? You asked a question to this person.
100%.
You asked a question to this person that was what could be offensive, maybe to someone. Okay, so that's fair. But it could have unlocked a really meaningful conversation about abuse or some kind of thing. You know, it could have went somewhere positive. It could have went somewhere positive.
That was my intention behind it.
Yeah.
But they kind of they went down south and whatever. And at the end of the day, because I obviously am gay and stuff, like in my own morals and the way I've been brought up, even if like Cocaine, Cobain and Stepsister, if they are listening to this, I don't hold anything negative towards them, nor would I ever want to, because I'm from that place of free thinking, free thoughts, and not about being in a closed environment in your head. Metaphorically speaking, I don't think that we should all come from this place of immediate attack, immediate defense, immediate everything
I agree.
Negative, close, exit, red. I feel like we need to elevate the conversation, like Michelle Obama says, and we need to not, take everything with a pinch of salt. Not everything is always meant to be the way it's meant to be interpreted, because sometimes people do miscommunicate things, and it can get totally blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And I think people do kind of sometimes take the wrong end of like what people are trying to really get across.
Of course, yeah. Well, you know what? It's unfortunate. You just raised an interesting point there, is that there are some people out there who their immediate, like how they're living in their minds and in their life is a defensive stance. They wake up in the morning and they immediately, like they always feel defensive. And when someone, especially a stranger, someone they don't know, is interacting with them, they can immediately switch to a defensive thing, which can cause them to lash out or close off, or who knows how they react to it. But that's really unfortunate. And an app like Stereo, for example, if you're here at all, I would hope that you're not that person, because this is a very sharing, open experience, So if you are that kind of person, perhaps this isn't the environment for you at this moment in your life, right? Like, we're here to talk to people, and that means like talk. It means like sharing, basically, right? It's not easy for everybody, I guess.
I know.
Could you?
It is very true, and I mean, oh, sorry.
Without being too personal in any way, you say that you're gay and you're in Scotland there. Could you just tell me a little bit about what kind of an experience that is in Scotland? I can tell you, here in Canada, people from the LGBTQ community, things have changed a lot over the past decade. In relation to sort of just culturally people being okay with gay people in general, being okay with hiring them for jobs, representing them in a frontline worker situation, where someone is their salesperson and they're very openly gay. It's changed a lot in the last decade, but before that, it's been a really rough go, as we all know. I think everybody can agree that the LGBTQ community has not had an easy go with social change, social justice, just respect generally from general public. How is it in Scotland? Are people very accepting? Are people very... And I don't like using the word tolerant, because that puts a negative connotation on things. I'd rather just sort of say accepting, compassionate.
I'll use the word minority.
Sure.
And multicolor. No. What's that word called? I can't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, minority, I think, would be the best way to describe it as a whole. You get the kind of rough with the smooth in terms of talking about different types of people who obviously see you maybe personally looking a little bit more colorful in terms of like the way you're dressing, your sense of style, who you are as a person, your individuality, what you stand for.
So a lot of prejudgment.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally say that because obviously I don't want to put those words out there because
Okay.
I feel like when you say something, it becomes real.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Um,
I'm just
but I
I'm shooting in
just
the dark here. Like somebody's sort of judging you by how you dress, for example, is I mean that's
I
true
mean,
everywhere, but
I've experienced that before personally, where, you know, I've been like, oh, like, Mum, do you need anything from the shop? Yeah, no bother, I'll just get you if you can get this
diverse
or
could be
that,
it,
blah, blah,
gnomes.
blah. I'll go maybe 5 minutes down the track. There'll be, you know, 3 or 4 biker guys come up the track and, you know, you'll hear them say something ridiculous or just really kind of not inappropriate, but just really unnecessary. And you kind of think, is that, you know, if I held them up a mirror and they saw who was saying that, would they then think that was about me, what they were saying, or would they then have to realize that that was a reflection upon themselves?
Yeah, well, honestly, when you think about it, what people output into the world is usually a reflection of themselves. Very
Yeah.
few people offer statements and interaction in the world that are there solely to benefit others. It actually is people speaking. A lot of people,
About
yeah, a lot of people
themselves.
are putting themselves out and trying to make things agree with them. They're not
Oh,
interested in, you know,
completely.
and so it's, and you know what? I don't fault them for it. That seems to be a natural, almost you could say a lot of humanity is just sort of you're trying to navigate between what you think is real and true, and then you're sharing that with the world, and things clash with that, and you have a hard time processing that. You know, I see this as all normal psychology in a lot of ways, but it's a shame when it becomes
Yeah.
hurtful. You know, it's a shame when it becomes something that
Yeah.
you're not respecting someone else. I've always had like I've had a hard time. I remember being a very young teenager, because I'm heterosexual, right? And being a very young man, 12 to 14 kind of years old, and at that age, you don't really, or at least in my experience, let's only speak about to my experience, but I didn't really understand homosexuality, didn't understand, you know, only what pop culture might have sort of taught me about it, you know. And I'm old enough that I grew up, you know, in the 80s and the 90s and things, and so a lot of the television and movies from back then, and in relation to LGBTQ people, or any minorities for that matter, a lot of it was the brunt of a lot of jokes in Hollywood. A lot of it was sort of the Bond villain is always a gay guy, you know, and this kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, I grew up in this environment that didn't really help me understand that at that young age, and you know, and it's only been until my much later years, which I'm not young anymore. Thank God, really. But
Does your like pendulum just swing in the direction of being a straight man, or have you ever had like a personal experience yourself where you haven't personally said in yourself, okay, I'm sexually attracted to an opposite male, but I'm not gonna have that judgment or stigma towards a man that makes me think they are kind of like not,
oh,
you know.
honestly, Valentino, first of all, I really want to thank you for asking such a straight question, such an honest question. Okay, that's the kind of talk that I like getting into. It does, you can't offend me, and I'm not uncomfortable talking about this. You know, and we're talking about here is actual experiences, right? And so, no, not personally, no. I've never felt any attraction towards the same sex, and that takes a little soul searching. It takes a little bit of experience and time, you know, for someone to experience in
Yeah.
that. I know that many other people, from what I've heard, have had, you know, question, what they could say is self-questioning experiences where they're trying to figure themselves out, you know. Personally, I've always been straight, and I'm comfortable with that. I've never like had this question, you know what I mean? But I don't mean that in any negative context. It's just something personally, I've been pretty sort of sure of myself in that regard, you know? I really do feel for people who feel confused about that. It must be an inner turmoil, and it doesn't help that society doesn't help with that situation either. You know what I mean? There isn't a place for those people to feel
Yeah,
comfortable
by the
and,
way, sorry if
you know?
that like sounded really like not inappropriate, but just kind of
No,
like not something that you would ask someone because I didn't want to offend you.
no,
But
no,
I
no.
think at the same time it's nice to kind of just get someone's different, totally random, you know, kind of like views and
Of
experiences on
course.
their way of living and how they live and oh, they were born in Canada. Maybe they have a
Yes.
different view. Maybe
Yes.
I'm a gay guy in Scotland, but maybe it might be okay if I ask a straight guy, what do you think of gay men? And
Of course.
it to not be a problem.
Well, can I tell you something? I'm going to do like a big generalization here, okay? Sweeping generalization Sunday, okay? Here we go.
Cool.
A straight person asking a gay person about their experience is actually a hard bridge to cross.
Okay.
It's not easy for me to turn to you, for example, and say, so tell me about coming out, or tell me about, when you first experienced these feelings. Or it's not easy for me to ask these questions because
I happily answer. I don't mind.
that's great. It's just, it's more like it's not a two-way street. It seems to me like a gay person turning to a heterosexual person and asking, what was your experience like growing up in relation to sexuality? That seems to be something that's more comfortable to talk about. Whereas a heterosexual person, well, because I know from speaking with homosexual people that I know, which is not too many. I have some friends, but not a lot. They're a minority, so go figure. I mean, but yeah, in the end, people have a rough go of it sometimes. It was not an easy time for them. And so for me to ask that question kind of raises, I don't want to ask questions that puts them in an uncomfortable place. And so it's often a question you don't ask gay people about their experience.
Of course.
You could say it's like a respect to people you get, but then you might not like the answer, like if I ask somebody, what was your experience like,
I'm sorry, but I just got to interrupt you for a minute. If you want to answer in whatever way you want to answer, because we've spoken a bit and I kind of am getting a bit of an idea about, this in general, I'm okay with, whatever answer you want, because that's coming from you. You're not being dictated by anyone. You're not being influenced. Your own, what you're saying is coming from inside you.
It is.
And that's,
I'll tell you right
that's
now.
not...
I'm being perfectly honest with you. It's just that, like I'm saying, when you ask somebody, tell me about growing up gay. Tell me, and sometimes that answer is very hurtful. They had struggles in the family, internal struggles. They really didn't feel comfortable with themselves.
Or it could be they were abused by the uncle, and that turned out to be a gay thing.
Yeah,
that we didn't ask for. Anything like that. I'm sure that's still going on in families.
Here in Canada, people changing genders is a big problem socially right now. It's you could say it's always been that way, which is probably true, but it's actually still really hard for someone who has undergone surgeries and all the steps that they take to sort of know themselves on that level. It's difficult. Oh, what's that?
What's your thought on straight men on OnlyFans?
I don't. I've never been on OnlyFans. I've heard of it.
Is that just straight men for because there's a term in the porn industry called gay for pay?
That is a brilliant term.
So have men always secretly, had that just opens a whole other dimension of conversation, doesn't it, in itself?
It does, but gay for pay is a very interesting thing when we're talking about fundamental psychology here. Is somebody heterosexual or something else? That's fundamentals, right?
Warfare in your head.
Yeah, but can an amount of money change that for the next 6 hours? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We have Gilles Lebel popping in here on stereo. Let's hear what he has to say here. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, loving the podcast.
Right on.
Loving the chats as well. Just want to have a question for Valentino. Did you grow up in the city, or was it more in the countryside in Scotland? And if so, could you tell that there was a difference between if the people had more of a closed mindset, or if you went to the city, you felt like you were treated differently in a way?
That is interesting.
Because I know coming from, used to live in Wales. I used to live out in the sticks in Wales, and coming from there, going to London, it was such a big difference with their mindset towards like minorities. and it was quite an eye opener. I just wanted to know if you ever felt that at all.
Oh, and there you have it. What do you think, Valentino?
Wow, that's incredible. Well, Giles, I need to tell you just really quickly. I know we're on. What's your name again? Archaeologist. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a brutal name. Okay, archaeologistic. You can just call me Arky. It's okay.
Okay. Well, I know we're on his like streaming thing at the moment, but I don't want to go too into it. But I was just gonna say, anytime I have an issue with my phone, the only people when I call my service provider, which are EE in the middle of nowhere in Scotland, they're 99.9% of the time I randomly, and this is so ironic, are people from either Wales or down south in England. But the majority of the people from Wales are the most loveliest people I've ever had the pleasure of talking to,
wow.
male and female. So
right on.
You know, it just goes to show that there are like 99.9% of the population are nice, and there's probably like only 1% that are just a bit of a minority of people that choose to think differently, and that's, I think, what kind of causes the kind of clash of divides of thoughts and opinions. But with going back to what Giles said about the whole kind of city thing, I originally was adopted at 2 months old. I escaped the war in Croatia and Bosnia. Shout out to all the survivors and refugees, such as myself, from 1995. I came all the way over here with nothing. Literally, my mother had me when she was like 14. She had to put me up for adoption. And that's when I came here, and I found this amazing family who took me in, been with them ever since, so I'm now legally a British citizen. But then originally, like 25 years ago, it was probably roughly when I lived in Edinburgh. So I did live in the city, but I was younger, and it was kind of when it was all the kind of like, you know, nursery, all that kind of younger age, kind of when I had been in the city. So I didn't really have that kind of adult mindset of knowing any of this information that I know now to be able to give you a full answer of what the city would have been like when I lived there back then. But now, obviously, there's definitely that whole thing where I did go to London recently, about 3 years ago, before I had anxiety and I wouldn't leave the house for years. And I went to London for 3 days. It was like in 2017, the last days of the year. Just went for a quick holiday, came back. The minute I got off the train from London into Edinburgh, kid you not, I walked up the stairs with my little suitcase, and 2 guys said, "Oh, look at that." And I just thought, oh, yeah, I'm back in Scotland.
Oh, no.
You know, so it really was just like, I think it is just that whole thing about open-mindedness and just the whole, it's a whole other world when you go somewhere different, because people kind of, when even in London it's so multi-diverse. You have black people, white people, any kind of origin of people from any race or whoever they are. Everyone's always in London, because it's always like anyone is anyone in London, like New York or LA or all these huge big places in the world.
It is a huge place. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not in the middle of Scotland, and you're only said my town there, bad move. I wouldn't want people to like come find me, but do you know what I mean? Like, realistically speaking, if you're in the middle of nowhere in Scotland, and then you go from having your little holiday in London, you can easily tell there's a total difference of this single-mindedness from a small minority of people who don't necessarily want to cause you harm, but they just want to remind you that, you know, you came back from London, so we're going to notice you because we're in Scotland and we don't think the way they think in London. So when we see you get off the train, we're going to let you know, oh, look at that. And it's just totally this whole bizarre thing of, I don't know, maybe it's just the way people are made to be, you know, thinking in Scotland, or there again is like a small minority of people in Scotland who necessarily aren't homophobic, but they kind of have this way where they pick on a target or someone who looks different, or
it's that defensiveness again, you know, immediately going to a defensive position, right? Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. It's designed for you to pick up on. You know what I mean? Like people, when they output something like this, it's intentional, or let's even say it's not intentional. It's still in a reactionary way that you're going to pick it up. Like you're going to notice that someone is being this way. You know.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I'm afraid, is it Giles or Gilles? It's some in Canada, for example, we would pronounce that.
Giles.
Yeah, in Canada we would say Gilles, right? Because we have a large French population here, right? So that would be Gilles in Canada, but Giles.
And the irony is, I just have to quickly say, I really do miss London. So I know not everyone in London is like horrible, but there is this one thing that I have to tell you about just really quickly,
Sure.
which was kind of hilarious. It's not a bad thing. I just found it hilarious because I was like, "Look, dude, I'm not actually from London, so I'm literally going back to Scotland in like 2 days. So I'm just going back to my hotel."
So whatever.
This guy passes me in the street with an umbrella, hugely taller than me. Easily looks like he probably could batter me with it. He says to me, I kid you not, he says, "Dude, are you a prostitute?"
Oh,
and I
wow.
just thought, honestly, you get it in London as well. So it's kind of like, well, you get it everywhere. People are going to love you and hate you if you're doing good or bad.
No, I was going to say, here in Canada, the difference between the more rural areas or smaller communities versus the very, very big, large mega city like Toronto, for example, there is a noticeable difference between, and again, I don't like using the word tolerance. I'd rather use the word inclusivity, compassion, understanding, respect for different groups, cultures, all that stuff, Canada does have racism. Canada does have discrimination. Our Indigenous people here, for example, the Native Americans, they have been persecuted and continue to be persecuted here in Canada. In 2021, there's still major issues concerning that, culturally, socially, even in policy and government. It just goes to show, I think that's more of it's an everywhere thing. The cities are going to be more open-minded, loosely speaking, kind of generalizing again here. It's generalization Sunday, so I'm just going to say things like this. You know what I mean? Oh. Whether they're right or wrong, well, we can figure that out with some study in the future. But I think the cities are more open-minded in general. Where would a homosexual person be safer? Probably in those major cities, if I were to guess. Where would they? And maybe let's not even say safer, but let's say more comfortable. Probably in the larger cities than in the rural areas.
Because I'm obviously quite an outspoken person in terms of my fashion. Whereas, I'll just go down the street in some little 3-inch wedges. I'll have my random crazy sequin trousers on.
Yeah.
That's influenced from being in London.
Valentino.
That's influenced from American culture.
Where do you buy fucking sequin trousers? I don't know where to even get that.
I just get them on ASOS.
Amazing.
Yeah. But obviously discounted prices. This isn't designer here. This is just all no, it doesn't even have to be designer. It just goes back to this whole American culture thing where some kids are influenced by whatever and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like as well, just because you wear sequin trousers in the middle of the country doesn't mean in your head you can't forget about London.
Sure.
If you're in the countryside and you're wearing something that's a little bit out there on the golf course, or you're going on a golf, or you just happen to be on a walk that makes you have to go over the golf course, to go into your town or whatever, if you can't drive and you're walking somewhere, that doesn't mean that you have to just fit in with the norm and be with the community and have to feel like you have to just wear some trousers and a little blue shirt and just kind of do the whole country thing where you don't kind of
yeah, but it's very culturally influenced. It's a subconscious influence. First of all, I just want to say I will not pay too much for sequin pants. Okay, so if we talk about designer, okay, we don't need designer pants. Okay, I will have used from Value Village or some kind of used thrift store. Great, I don't mind wearing someone else's sequin pants. I'm not paying very much though.
Can I ask, is there a place called Value Village? Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's a huge chain of used clothing stores here in Canada called Value Village. It's a company, and they're very large, not warehouse sized, but they're very large stores, and they're full of nothing but used goods. And so people drop off garbage bag after garbage bag of clothing and all kinds of stuff, and then Value Village sells them and turns a profit. And yeah, It's a great place. That's where I might find sequin pants. Other than that, I have no idea where to start. Okay, I don't even know. No, but I was gonna say, in the country, and I'm gonna say this is true for everywhere. So we're getting into a bit of like anthropology here, where people, the cultural norms, our general mode of existence in smaller areas and communities, it happens organically. And so, for example, there's places in Canada where everybody drives the same truck. Everybody wears everybody listens to country music. Everybody,
No.
and this isn't like copycat stuff. This isn't really a conscious decision by people. This is how they grew up in this environment that it happens, where they're all the same in a certain regard culturally, right? And so you cross that golf course wearing sequin pants in a place that they're not used to seeing something like that. You're not only different than them, this is beyond their wildest imagination. They can't understand that. That's just like this person, like, look at those pants. I mean, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
But
that's
it's
good
not
for them,
because
in my
I'm
opinion.
trying
But
to- it's not because I'm trying to. You have to remember, it's very important, the narrative we're trying to create here is not because I'm trying to stand out. That's not it at all. It's just because they are sequin pants.
sure,
You
yeah,
have to remember that. It's not about anything else here. This is about the fact that these trousers are in the wardrobe, and if you have a pair of trousers, what are you going to do? Just not wear them.
well, I mean, you got to wear pants, okay?
Yeah.
The cops will have something to say if you don't, I think so.
Oh, dear. In
Now,
fact,
listen.
recently it happened like Chicago time here. We
Oh,
had a lot of break-ins.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
See?
That's not
Yeah.
good. That's
Which
not.
was actually really quite unusual for the small town where we live.
Well, I know a little bit about policing, and when you have a rash of a certain type of crime that happens over and over again, it's more likely that it's one person doing it over and over again than it is like 17 individuals coming up with this on their own. You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're just you really are looking for the person who keeps pulling. They did it, it worked, so they did it again. It worked, they did it again. It's more likely one or two people than it is a large group of people, right? So
You hit the nail on the head.
yeah, that's how
That's
usually
so
it
on-
works,
you're
right?
So on the money with that.
Yeah, and the police know that, and that's just good policing, right? If you're looking for some scumbag
Yeah.
who's really breaking the rules in a hurtful way, and a really, I'm not talking parking tickets here, right?
Am I hearing that right? Did you do policing for Ozzy Osbourne? Did you say it?
No, I did like a little bit of a security job,
Oh, okay,
I also
sorry,
did security in a mental health ward in a hospital.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so this was it's security in a place where these people are awaiting trial. So they're the forensic ward, basically. So there's people who have broken the law. They're not mentally well, and they need security on them while they wait in the hospital and also get treatment in the hospital. But they're also, some of them were like potentially dangerous, you could say. The fact is, though, Valentino, I got along with all of them so well, and I'm just not that guy who's like, I don't come to them in this really aggressive security guy stance. I was assigned to hang out with Doug for 12 hours in the hospital. And so Doug's got some problems, right? He's not all there. He's hurting mentally somehow. And I would just be hey, Doug, how you doing, man? So you and I are going to hang out together today. I don't know if you want to watch some TV or whatever you want to do. It's just I gotta sort of hang out with you. So what do you feel like doing, man? And he'd be like, thank God I'm not this standoffish, big, security guy, always like threatening. You know what I mean? And we just...
So I take it, are you like quite, I don't want to give away like your privateness of who you are, obviously, but are you quite like, are you quite tall? I take it.
Yes, yes. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'2", but I think I'm a little less now because I'm getting old, so I'm shrinking. I think, yeah.
And did they like require you to be like of a certain build or whatever?
No. These
to be in that job,
these security companies are a joke. They hire anyone. They'll put like a 5'3" woman in with the schizophrenics, and Like
Oh no.
they'll do anything. They don't care. They just need a security guard in there to make them money,
They
right?
just need someone to cover the bill. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and I would say it is
That's
a
so
dangerous
bad.
job, but it's all about how you talk. You know, a lot of that job
I
with
read
mental
an
health,
article
right?
in the Times. I think it was the Sunday Times, or no, in the New York Post, and it was about people abusing their power in trust. You know, like people who are assigned to those jobs.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, police officers who are even like in kind of with not the cartel, but they're in with the people. So they look like they're, you know, protecting, but then really in reality, they're actually like with those people. So they're abusing their powers.
Corrupt cops, eh? Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a bad apple everywhere, right? But in my experience here in Canada, most of the police officers that I've met and interacted with, even them pulling me over, and even them like, you know, like I'm on the other side of taking a police interaction. I've had mostly really good experiences. They're doing a job. I do respect the job. It's not an easy job. And chances are when someone stops you to ask you questions, we recently had carding here. Have you ever heard of that? I don't know if it was happening in Scotland,
Is
but
that some guy or someone?
it was almost like a stop and frisk program. Police were just stopping people randomly to ask them for identification and things. Oh no. It was called carding, and basically the police would just go through the community and stop and ask people, so who are you and where do you live, and you know, just some basic, you know, how you doing, you know. It was considered very, very racist, because what was happening is a disproportionate amount of minorities were being stopped, and not enough of basically just straight white middle class people were part of that data collection, basically, right? It was considered hurtful to the communities. It was considered very racist practice, and so I hope Canada stopped doing it. I don't know if they're still doing it, but yeah, they were doing that. And so there's like policing gone wrong. That's where policing's not really paying attention to its community interaction and its duty to the community, you know. If they're walking around in a neighborhood that's predominantly black, and they're stopping all these people asking who are you, where are you going, and all this, well, I would hope that they would be doing that. Well, yeah, and yet some would argue that there's nothing random about it. Some would argue that they're trying to collect data on the black community in the given city, right? So yeah, unfortunate practice.
Does that not just stem into the line of conspiracy theories?
Oh, well, yeah, no, this was not a conspiracy anything, though. This was...
Because have you heard the COVID conspiracies? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, there's a million of them. Come on.
You know, are they trying to extract my data when they jack me? Are they going to put a microchip in my brain because they put a thing in my arm?
There's a microchip in the
like,
shot.
No, if you don't take this pet, you're going to die. Like, you're not going to die, but, you know, there's a high chance you could bloody get it, and then you could end up with bloody COVID.
Yeah.
Take the jag. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, no, just stop reading these conspiracies, because then once someone reads it, it's like dominoes. It goes to 100 other people, and then 100 other people start spreading it on somewhere else.
Well, it's easier to believe that someone's driving the bus. It's easier to believe that someone is like, there's a plan for this, and that's why there's a microchip in the thing, because of this, and because this person, Bill Gates is trying to microchip you. And, you know, it's harder to believe that no one's driving the bus, that we're all just trying to catch up to this issue that we're trying to handle together, and it's being handled very poorly, but, you know, that's humanity for you. And yeah, I don't know. Well, listen, I do have to go. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Valentino. I definitely appreciate you sharing with us today. The Twitch chat loved hearing from you. Okay.
Thank you for giving me your time.
Right on. If you want to find the show, if you want to hear this broadcast, it'll be on Spotify and everything. So you can go ahead and just listen to our chat again and again, or share it with a friend if you think we said anything of value that we might want to pass on to people. Yeah. It'll be on Spotify later today. You just search archaeologistic.
A few Irish people.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Let's send this a shout out to the good Irish and the
Let's shout out to Leah. who's really stepsister. She knows who she is.
All right,
Oh, man.
let's help everybody. Let's start with them, I
Let's
guess.
help everyone. We can only spread love by spreading love ourselves, right?
Right on, right on. All right, yeah, take care of yourself, and we'll talk again soon, I hope, okay?
God bless you.
All right, ciao for now.
Bye. Take care.
Well, what do you think, guys? And a great chat with Valentino there about being a homosexual in Scotland. Taking, Jazz. Awesome that you're here. Right on. Twitch chat, Twitch fam in the chat. We had some stereo interactions, so that was awesome. Maybe we'll get to talk with Valentino again. This app does randomly put you with people, but if you've interacted with someone previously, the algorithm does put you with people you've talked to before. It does happen again and again. So we might run into Valentino again in the future. Who knows, right? It's a spin of the wheel, right? With this app, it really literally is a spin of the wheel. So that was a great chat. I definitely feel good about that. And I love talking to people who are articulate and are very open, you know, so that works, right? Right on, Gnomes. I'm glad you're enjoying this, man. I'm enjoying this. All right. It's yeah, right on. So like I was saying to Valentino there, these are all being uploaded to Spotify. If you did miss the show, or if you want to re-listen to something, you want to catch something, for some reason, you know, if there's something you thought was awesome, this is now going to be on Anchor and Spotify and many other podcast platforms soon. Anchor distributes it for you, kind of thing. So I'm just waiting for those to process, and it'll be on Google Podcasts eventually. It'll be on Apple eventually. You know, right now Anchor and Spotify are the two that it's instantly on, right? So yeah, this will be episode 3. Up it goes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go do some stuff. I'll come back and do another one of these later today, I think. So don't be surprised if there's an episode 4. Maybe we can have a chat with someone else from way around the world, and we'll just figure people out and have a good chat. Maybe learn something from them. You know. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me very much. Feel free to like and subscribe and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Make sure you're following me on the Twitch chat if you want a live notification. Make sure if you're on the stereo app. If you're not on the stereo app, that's a way that you can participate in this chat as well. So you install stereo on your phone, and then you can find the show that way. I don't do a upcoming broadcast thing on stereo, because to do that, you have to plan for 2 people to be chatting. And so that's a show, right? You see, so we're scheduling a show for 2 hours from now, and it's this person and this person, and you do it, right? I can't schedule a show on the currently. I can't schedule a show on the stereo app with just me alone and then a random, right? And so that's the format of my show right now. So I'm just going random. So I'm not scheduling anything. But if you do follow me on stereo, you'll be able to be notified that way. Also, if I am live and you're listening to the show on the stereo app, you can actually record your voice and interact with us on that level, like we saw Giles did there, right? Giles. In Canada, we would say Gilles, because it's a French. Yeah, that would be a French thing, you know. So right on. Thanks very much for the follow there, Giggy. Right on, buddy. I'm doing random phone calls from around the world, random chat with people on the internet, and that's the format of the show right now. It's a good time. I've definitely had a great time talking to people, and you guys in the Twitch chat really helped me out. Emotional support, to say the least, but also great questions and interactions, right? So Twitch, stereo, it's on Spotify. You go ahead and grab those, follow it on there. If you miss an episode, you're welcome to just pop it in. You can listen to my rambling while you're driving or doing something more important with your life. Okay. I am going to come back to you in a few hours. I'll come back and do another one of these. Yeah, I'll do another one of these chats later today. Okay. So until then, thanks very much for tuning in. All right, guys, and we'll talk soon. Ciao for now.